Hari Om. Let's start with the prayer. Om Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mamadeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. We are discussing the moksha now. So, ko nama bandhaha katamesha agataha katam pratisthasya katam vimokshaha. So, what is the means for liberation? Because I feel I am bound and therefore I want liberation. And the nature of the truth is, as being explained, is Brahman is absolute truth and it cannot be known. Even though we said that it is one karanam and ekavijnanena, knowing one karanam we know everything, and that's what is the nature of Brahman. But Brahman point, it is beyond the karanam. So it's not even a cause. Only for those who are seeing the world and those who are inquiring, a tentative teaching is given until one recognizes in the end that there is no teaching even, because I am Nitya Mukta Swarupaha. I am free all the time. But since I feel I am bound, all this teaching is only for the one who feels he is bound. And everyone is feeling bound because they are suffering and complaining. So whenever there is a complaining, that means you have a problem. So one fellow went to Swami Chinmayananda. He says, "Sir, I've been attending your talks all the time and now I understand clearly I am Brahman. But how come I am still suffering?" So the question is, how can you suffer when I know I am Brahman? So knowing I am Brahman is repeating like this is a medicine, this is a medicine. By repeating the medicine, nothing will happen. You have to take the medicine and medicine has to go through and get assimilated as a part of the system and then act on it until only the disease gets relieved. So therefore, it's not just sitting down, who am I, or aham brahmasmi. It's not a japa or it's not a repetition of the statement, but it is understanding, and inquiry is required. Inquiry using the mind, and that's what is called moksha jnanam. A jnanam is required. And this Brahman, from the point of absolute, doesn't require any liberation. From the point of pure mind instruments, they don't require any liberation because they are inert. So there is something that which is identifying with the mind and intellect as I am the mind and intellect, and that who identifies with that is having a problem. Who is having a problem? The mind with the wrong notions. I am identifying with the mind with the wrong notions. That's what the problem is. So Jiva is that which is a pure consciousness reflected in the mind as a Chidabhasa, and the reflected consciousness which is Chidabhasa using the reflecting medium, thinking that depending upon the purity of the medium, I am so and so. That's what is the claim of, that's what a Jiva notion. From the point of the original consciousness, there is no Jiva, there is no the reflecting medium, it's absolutely beyond Karanam also. It's not even a cause. Therefore, it is causeless cause, that is essentially Ekam, that which is beyond any modifications and any Karna. So this is Karya Karana Vilakshanam Brahma. So even though we say tentatively that this is creation is a cause for the creation, is because of this, at the same time, from the point of absolute, there is no creation from the Brahman point, because Brahman cannot undergo any creation. Therefore, it is Karya Karana Vilakshanam Brahma. And that's how the Brahman is defined, which is same as Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. And that is essentially the absolute truth. But from the point of one who is inside the creation, who feels the suffering of the creation, you feel that I am bound. And therefore, a teaching is required for the one who has a notion that he is bound. And how do you get the teaching? You have to go to Tad Vijnanartham Sa Gurum Eva Abhigacche Samitpanihi Sotriyam Brahmanishtam. So you approach a teacher who knows the knowledge, who has knowledge of this and who can teach you. So that is essentially explained in terms of by Vedanta itself. Don't come directly to me. Go to a teacher who understands Vedanta and who can also knows how to teach also, and who himself is established in that. That means he himself has learned from his teacher and all the way to the original teacher, which we call it, says Jagat Guruhu. That's why the Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanora Mardhanam Devaki Paramanandam. That Krishna is Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. He is Jagat Guru. That's why because of his teaching and every Bhagavad Gita, and also before that he taught in the form of Hamsa to Brahmaji, and Brahmaji taught Samatkaras and all the way down to my teacher. So that is the Guru Parampara, and also there is a methodology of teaching also. So teacher knows what are the problems that a student encounters, because he himself has gone through all that process. So all that is implied in trying to say, go to a teacher with appropriate questions. Now we say, what kind of knowledge we'll get? The knowledge, one has to be careful, is the knowledge is not Purushatantram. That means I cannot will the knowledge. It's not in my control. Say, now I want knowledge, please come down. It will not come. So what I can do is preparation for the knowledge, and that is in my control. So I have to prepare myself so that the knowledge can come down to me. So this is what is essentially called Vastu Tantram. It depends on the knowledge that you are seeking. This is true for any knowledge. So I want chemistry knowledge. All I have to do is prepare my mind properly for that knowledge and keep contemplating or keep studying until I suddenly say, yes, now I understand. So understanding has to come down as though the knowledge has to descend. That's called the Saraswati has to come down, and she will come down only if you have done proper prayer. Proper prayer is preparing the mind conducive for her to come in the form that you are praying. If I want chemistry, I have to prepare in the direction of chemistry and think in my mind to be contemplating in that, and that is the mind that is meditating in that side, therefore she will come. Now for me to get the Brahman knowledge, what should I do? I have to understand what is the nature of Brahman, why the Brahman as though became many, and what I should do in order to recognize that which cannot be recognized otherwise. So in every perception it is there, but at the same time I am still looking for it. So this is the problem where I am already able to see but I cannot see. And that's why it is a very subtle. Therefore, in the Viveka Chudamani says, after describing all this that we have discussed, that say, how do I get moksha? And there it's being clearly specified. Says, na astra. This is a sloka number 149. Says, na astrai, na sastrai, na anile, na vaknina. Chetum na sakyo na cha karma kotibhi viveka vijnana mahasina vina dhatu prasade na site na manjuna na astraihi na sastraihi. So, nainam chindanti sastrani. So in the Bhagavad Gita it says, this Atma cannot be cut with Shastram, it cannot be cut, it cannot be dried. All that is here implied. I cannot know by any other process. I cannot differentiate, distinguish, and make it as though it is a tool for me to identify itself by a sharp cutting and see what it is. That's called Sukshma Buddhi. Sukshma Buddhi means sharp intellect which cuts like an astram. So, and Shastram, Astram is Shastram. Astram is that you want to throw, and that's called like a Brahmastram, where the distance is there, it will go and destroy. Whereas Shastram is like a knife, or this one where you hold it and cut it. Are called Shastram. So na astraihi na shastraihi anilena vaknina, neither by the air or by the fire. Chetum na sakyum, it cannot be understood or cut, and it's not possible. Naja karma kotibhihi, Even thousands of work you may do. I want to do this, I want to do this. So all activities that I want to do in order to become happy. Because remember, I'm not worried about Brahman or anything. I want happiness. But you keep doing it. Even thousands of activities you do, you will still be only limited. Because you will be unhappy. You will be inadequate person. The inadequacy persists by any other pursuit, because the pursuit itself is limited. So adequacy is limited, and I want to become infinite by the process of any pursuit, which is not possible. So only solution and the only means for moksha, and this is what Advaita Vedanta emphasizes, is Viveka Vijnana Mahasina Vina Dhatu Prasadena Sitena Manjuna. So it is a Viveka and Vijnana. I need a discriminative intellect, and I have to gain the knowledge of that Vijnanam. Going to the what is Vijnanam, we'll define later, but that which is that knowledge by which I will understand clearly, that knowledge by knowing which I know everything. That Eka Vijnanena Sarva Vijnanam, and that is Vijnanam. Also Vijnanam is Aparoksha Jnanam, that which is neither Pratyaksha nor Paroksha, but it is Aparoksha. Aparoksha means not far away, because it is direct, at the same time not Pratyaksha, not perceptual understanding, but it is something cannot be perceived, but it is directly present, and therefore it is called Aparoksha. And that is myself. And therefore, how far I had to do to go to discover myself? I had to go to Himalayas to find out where I am or who I am. So wherever you are there also. All I need is conducive mind in order to inquire. And therefore, Viveka Vijnana Mahasina. Mahasina means by sword of very sharp, that only can cut this. And this is in the 15th chapter, it says Urdhva Moola Madashakam Ashwattam Prahuravyayam. So this is like a tree growing all over from the Urdhva Moolam. The roots are above, because that is the higher state from which is coming down. The whole thing is branching all over the world like a banyan tree spreading all over. That is my samsara. And because my attachments are growing life after life after life, and so how do I cut this tree? It says Asanga Shastrena Dudhaiva Sittam. That is by the detachment, by the weapon of detachment, Shastram. That is the knife that I had to, or sword that I had to use to cut this. What kind of sword? Asanga Shastram. That is detachment. Means I had to get detached to all the Nama Rupas. That means names and forms, and that I am getting carried away with the superficial attributive world, but forgetting the Adhisthanam, that which support from which it came, by which it is sustained, into which it goes back. That I am ignoring. And by cutting that ignorance of that, by attachment to this, I can only gain the knowledge. Here the attachment is there, the Vairagyam is being emphasized. Here it is a Viveka. So Viveka, Vairagya, Shat Sampatti and Mumukshutvam are the essential qualifications required for sadhak for gaining moksha. So therefore, how do I gain moksha? What is the means for moksha? Means for moksha is purification of the mind. So mind itself is not real. What is there to purify? The bondage is also not clear. But when I take unreality as real, then there is a problem. Therefore, it is the mind that has a problem, which takes things which are not real as a real. Therefore, manayeva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. So, the bandhaya vishaya asaktam muktai nirvishayam srutam. In the Amrita Bindu Upanishad, this is a statement says, Manayeva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayo. The mind is responsible for both bondage as well as liberation also. So, I have to use the mind in order to get liberated, because the wrong notions are in the mind, and the mind need to be brainwashed, because it has all the dirt of misunderstandings, has to be known through proper understanding. Proper understanding comes from the study of the scriptures. It's a very interesting story that Swami Chinmayananda used to give, and says is about a mule story. So in the Himalayas, they used to have pagadis who have very simple people, where they used to take mules from one place and carry all their things that one place and go there another place, sell it and buy things that are not available here, and that's how they used to do trading, and that's how they used to survive. So therefore, this one person, one pagadi is taking a mules and all his luggage and going all the way. And there in the Himalayas, we don't know when it will snow and when it will not. Suddenly the clouds came and it started snowing. So when he's top of a small hill, when he saw it snowing, then he thought he better be careful with the mules, because he doesn't want them to get lost or get trapped in the snow. So he looking around where he can rest some time until the snow stops. So he saw some ashram there, says the Swami may be there, let me take. So he went to the Swami and explained to him that what is his situation, that he needs to take a rest and the mules need a rest, and after the snow is over, then he can go. Swami said, no problem, put the mules, tie them there in some place and take a bath and have some food and sleep, and when you get up in the morning, you can go. By that time, the snow will be stopping. So he thanked this one, he went to the mules, and there he realized that he forgot the rope and the pegs that where he has to nail things down and tie the mules. So since he forgot it, he says, let them lie down. So he said, come on, lie down, lie down, lie down. But they won't lie down because they are not tied. So he says, what should I do? They don't want to lie down. So he went to Mahatma. He says, Mahatma, this is a problem. I forgot the rope and I forgot the peg, and the mules don't want to lie down. What should I do? Then Mahatma said, do one thing. You pretend as though you have a rope. You pretend as though you have a peg, and pretend that you are beating the pegs to the ground, and pretend as though you are tying those mules, and let them lie down. Then they will lie down. Says, how can they pretend? What is this? So anyway, these are Mahatmas. So he went outside, he put the pegs down, he pretended as though he's putting the pegs down and taking the ropes, pretended tying those mules, and then asked them to lie down. They looked at him and they says, yes, now we are tied. So they lied down. So in the morning when he got up and he freshened himself and took leave of the Swamiji, and then went outside and he asked them to get up. Mules, get up, come on, get up, get up. They won't get up. He said, what is the problem again? So he ran back to the Swami. He said, they are not getting up. He says, did you untie them? He said, what do you mean? There's no tie there. There's no rope even to tie. But you pretended as though you are tying them. Now pretend you are untying them, then they will get up. Says, these Mahatmas are really great. So he went there and he pretended as though he's untying those mules and removed the pegs and asked them to get up. They immediately got up. And we are like a mules because we found that we think we are bound. Therefore, we need a procedure to unbound ourselves because we are never bound to start with. That's exactly what Vedanta teaches essentially. You are Nitya Mukta, Suddha Mukta Swarupaha. You are eternally liberated. But to recognize that, you need this, and you need the sadhana, you need a purification of the mind. Also illustrated by one gentleman who has a very thin necklace, and his wife gave him a beautiful necklace, and he was so happy. So he went to his friend to show off his necklace. He walked all the way 4 miles and showed his friend, see, my wife gave this beautiful necklace for me. And his friend was very happy, and they chit-chatted after that for another half an hour. And after that, this person came back home, and when he came back and saw, he doesn't have the necklace. My God, my wife is going to come. Says she will feel bad. Thinks I don't know where, I might have lost it. And I remember showing it to my friend. So he ran 4 miles all the way to his friend. Says, what happened? Says, I must have forgotten my necklace here. Remember, I was showing that necklace to you, and I must have forgotten because I don't have it. And then friend looked at it. Says, it is in your neck only. It's between the folds of your shirt. So when searching it, he found the necklace. So he's happy now. So the question is, was the 4 miles of running necessary to discover the necklace? Necklace was never lost. So if we say it's necessary, then it's not necessary because he was a possessor of necklace all the time. At the same time, if we say it's not necessary, then we say it's necessary because otherwise he was suffering because he could not find the necklace and he looked all over and he is worried. Therefore, he has to go and get the knowledge. Therefore, the correct understanding is 4 miles of running is necessary to discover that 4 miles of running is not necessary. Because he is always a possessor of necklace even when he thought he lost it. In the same way, it is I am is pure consciousness existence and I am looking for happiness all the time, continuously, life after life, knowing or not without knowing that I am the very source of happiness. And therefore, I need a purification of the mind so that when the scripture says, you are already happy, why are you searching for it? So that knowledge is required, for that sadhana is required, all the karmas are required for purification of the mind so that the knowledge can take place. So all the karmas and everything else are prerequisites or preparatory for gaining the knowledge. So therefore, na karmana na prajaya dhane na tyage naike amrutatva manasuhu. So in the Upanishad says, neither by action, na karmana na prajaya, neither by prodigy, na dhanaya, neither by wealth, na karmana na prajaya dhane na tyage naike. Only by giving up only you will gain the knowledge. Tyagam is here is giving up your wrong understanding has to be done, and wrong understanding is only way is by gaining the right understanding you will give up the wrong understanding. So therefore only by Vedanta Sravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, Srotavyaha, Mantavyaha, Nididhyasitavyaha are the only means for liberation. And what kind of knowledge you require? And this Viveka Chudamani emphasizes na yogena sankhena karmana nona vidyaya brahmatmaikatva bodhena moksha siddhati nanyata na yogena na sankhena na karmana na prajaya dhanena tyagena ike. So here this is na yogena na sankhena karmana nona vidyaya brahma atmaikya bodhena, the identity of the totality with yourself, because you are full by yourself, is that knowledge alone will give you liberation, and no other way you can get liberated. So we are looking at what is the cause, ko nama bandha, katamesha agataha, katam pratishtaha, and katam vimoksha. So what is the liberation? Liberation is recognition that the bondage is due to my lack of correct understanding about myself and the world. Only solution to the problem is the knowledge that can relieve, and once the knowledge takes place, knowledge and the ignorance both disappear, and what is left is pure consciousness. So knowledge is also not a vritti jnanam, it only eliminates the ignorance, and in the process of removing the ignorance, jalam katakarenavatu, just like say moksha, the ignorance is removed, and along with the knowledge and ignorance things, an example is given in Atmavoda. Just like in olden days they used to put kataka nut powder to purify the water. So they don't have any purification process, they put a kataka nut powder on top of it to purify the water for drinking. And this kataka nut powder has a low surface energy, it spreads out and it starts absorbing and it becomes heavy, and when it becomes heavy it goes and sinks down, and in the process of sinking down it traps all the impurities, and therefore in the process you are free from the kataka nut powder as well as the impurities in the water, and the water is left pure. And that's what is essentially is the jnanam also. Jnanam, there is no palam, because palam is already there all the time. All I am removing is like the clouds removing that are obstructing the sun, because the clouds cannot really obstruct the sun. I am able to see clouds only because of the sun. The clouds are only arising because of the sun. yet I cannot see the sun. And those who are underneath the sun cannot see because they are blocked by the clouds. Therefore, only way is remove the clouds by the wind, and then what else I have to do? Nothing else, because the self-shining sun is revealing itself. And that's essentially what the knowledge is, what the moksha. Therefore, appropriate knowledge is required to remove the ignorance. This, the moksha and the means of moksha is emphasized. In the next talk, we talk about the nature of that absolute knowledge and the nature of the self, and how the scriptures define these two, for giving an example and to see the beauty of the scriptures also. This will stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.